Welcome back to the Rejuvenate, Focus and Relax series of podcasts with Apex Hotels. I'm Celine Morin, a well-being expert, and today we're going to take a look at the ultimate relaxation, which is sleep. Sleep is one of the fundamental things that we need to be doing in order to be well, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's a fundamental human need, just like food is. However, so many of us are sleep deprived. We are not getting enough sleep because we are so busy, we are so stressed, we are so connected. We almost feel as if we get a badge of honor if we can get away with less sleep. And some of us might even think that sleep is a waste of time. But is it really? Because 1 or 2 nights of not getting enough sleep is maybe okay. Although I'm sure that you've felt the immediate effects the next day where you have a bit of brain fog and you're maybe a little bit more sluggish, maybe hungrier than usual, and I'll explain why that happens in a moment. But we know that long term, if you consistently don't get enough sleep, your brain suffers, your body, your physiology, your chemistry, almost every single part of your sense of well-being will be negatively affected. So let's quantify, how much is enough? So according to all the experts, most of us, that's generally the entire population, needs to be getting more than 7 hours of sleep and good quality sleep. So before we go into how you can actually make that really happen, let's look at the why. Why do we need the sleep? Because when we don't get enough sleep, I mentioned that all kinds of things can go wrong. So we know that your brain is one of the first organs to be affected, so you don't function at the same level of IQ when you don't have enough sleep. Your memory is not quite the same, and all this relates to a process that happens while you're actually sleeping. So when you go into deep sleep, you go into what we call REM sleep, or your brain waves drop into delta wave. And there's a system that Dr. Tara Swart speaks about. Now, Dr. Tara Swart is a neuroscientist. She's a leadership coach. She's an award-winning author, a medical doctor, a really smart lady who focuses a lot on sleep and speaks about the glymphatic system. So not the lymphatic system, which is the one that cleans out our bodies, but the glymphatic system cleans up plaques and tangles that happen in between the neurons in your brain. And this cleaning process happens at night when you're sleeping. And it's what helps us to have a good memory and to keep the brain neuroplastic. So we know that the brain has the ability to grow new neurons, which is just amazing, especially if you want to keep mentally alert. So we need to be able to sleep. Your heart gets affected if you don't sleep enough. We know that your risk towards having a heart attack or stroke increases when you're sleep deprived. I mentioned that you get hungrier, and that's because of a little hormone called ghrelin. Now, ghrelin might make you think of gremlin, and gremlins were those little guys that were very hungry and irritable and angry, and that's exactly what lack of sleep does, is it makes you hangry. So hungry and angry at the same time, and makes you crave sugar. So that's not going to help you if you're wanting to manage your weight and manage your health. Another expert, Arianna Huffington, who's the founder of the Huffington Post and CEO of Thrive Global, has written many, many books, and one of her recent books is called The Sleep Revolution. So in that book, she says we really need to redefine success and how we look at sleep as not being a waste of time, but rather part of helping us be more wise and show up better in terms of a more fulfilling, happy way of life. So what can you do? Whether you're at home, on the go, staying in a hotel, if you think about a young child going to sleep, so anybody who's trying to put a baby or an infant or a toddler to bed, I'm sure you'll appreciate the importance of having a routine. So they need to go to bed at the same time. We soften the lights. We maybe give them a warm drink. We might even sing to them or rub their back or read a bedtime story. So how does this relate to you? Well, as an adult, the same kind of bedtime routine can help you get a good night's rest. So 1 hour before you plan to sleep, it's a good idea to do this an hour before, is to think of your 5 senses and to start to slow down. So if we first take a look at out of sight, taste, smell, touch, and hear, let's take a look at sight. Try and reduce the lighting around you. So soften the lights. Put on lamps rather than really bright lights. And definitely stop all lights coming off your digital devices. I can't begin to tell you how important this is. almost every single sleep expert is saying the best thing we can do to ensure better quality sleep is to make sure that we have a digital detox for 1 hour before we go to bed. When we look at our devices, our iPads, our cell phones, our laptops, even the television, the light emitted from these devices apparently reduces the ability of the pineal gland in your brain to produce a hormone called melatonin, and melatonin makes you feel sleepy and drowsy. So if you want to feel drowsy and sleepy and get to sleep easy, you have to reduce your exposure to these devices. And even if you're using the nighttime mode or switching over to different forms of light, the fact is that the content can still impact the way that you feel. So the last thing you want to do is read a business-related blog post or see something on social media that makes you feel anxious or irritable, and then that could impact your sleep. So think about reducing the lighting and definitely having a digital detox before you go to bed, ideally for 1 hour. Then think about your taste. Could you maybe drink something that could be comforting and warming, like chamomile tea? Simply the ritual of making a warm drink and sipping it can help you to tell your body that you're going to relax. Definitely try and avoid caffeine before you sleep. Things like sugary and spicy food can also disrupt your sleep because they can disrupt digestion. So ideally, don't eat a heavy meal more than 2 or 3 hours before going to bed. Reduce your caffeine intake perhaps 6 hours before you want to sleep, especially if you're sensitive to caffeine, and have a calming herbal tea, something like chamomile. Think of the third sense is your sense of smell. We know there's research to support that lavender can help you relax. So maybe take a bath and put in some lavender oil in your bath. Maybe use some lavender oil on your pillow just to help you use that sense of smell to relax. And then think about what touches your skin. So make sure that you're comfortable in whatever it is that you're sleeping in. Think about how your pillow feels against your face and the sheets and the linen against your skin. I really enjoy sleeping in hotels because I find that the linen is always such good quality. But what about your home? Could you make your home the same? I'm not sure if you know that you should be changing your mattress quite often. We should be changing our mattresses apparently every 8 years is best to make sure that we sleep comfortably. Also think of the temperature in the room. So a cooler room temperature is better than a stuffy, warm room. And then the last tip around your fifth sense, which is your hearing. This is something that I do myself. I use earplugs, which help me. I just use those sponge, cheap, easy earplugs that can just block out some of that white noise. And if you're traveling a lot, sleeping in different hotel rooms and on the go, that can help a lot. You could also consider using meditation or gentle music that can act a bit like a lullaby does for a child. And deep breathing can help. So in a previous podcast, we looked at how breathing and mindfulness and meditation can help reduce the sense of stress or sense of anxiety that some of us feel. So if you suffer from insomnia, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep, definitely try and use breathing or following a breathing technique like the heart breath. A heart breath is one that the Heart Math Institute use a lot. And what you simply do is you focus your attention on the area of your heart. Imagine breath flowing in and out of your heart. Slow down your breathing. Take deep inhales. Gently exhale. And if you can, think of a feeling or a word that helps you feel a sense of appreciation or gratitude or love. So I love my pet Yorkie. I will sometimes picture him and then focus on my heart and take deeper breaths in and out. And that's a very powerful technique that can help you relax, especially if you're struggling to fall asleep. If you found this podcast helpful, please rate and review. Let us know what you think. Are we on the right track? And please share this with people that you know that may need this information. You're also welcome to contact me if you have questions or comments. I'm available on Twitter using @Celyn, CELYNN, or on Instagram using @ResilientEnergy. Please join us for the next podcast where we are going to take a look at the rise of the power nap.